everyone. Today we're going to have a side-by-side of my two chocolate rye porters. The one on my left is using 40L and the one on my right is using 60L. That is Crystal 40, Crystal 60. I have done a side-by-side of both of them. I will link it up here if you would like to go check it out. I'm going to put these bottles over here like I normally do. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and everybody please hit that thumbs up. So the 40L version finished at 6.53% ABV, and the 60L version finished at 6.12. They're pretty much the same, but I can say on the 60 it's a little darker, it's a little tanner than the 40L version. I would like to see a little bit more of a head, but for the most part I know a lot of porters that don't have head, so it's fine. So I think in the color we're going to see the difference in these between the 40 and the 60 crystal. And you definitely can see a difference. This is more of a dirty brown color. I can see through it a little bit. Where the 60 version is a darker, like brownish red, and I can't see through it. I can see like a nice reddish tint here. But yeah, you can definitely tell at least that this beer has darker malts in it. And I would almost say, because I did a couple weeks ago, this one kind of resembles Dirty Bastard from Founders, the color of it. So for the color, I think that's up to you. I like my porters a little bit more on the darker side than the brown side. So at least for this, I would go with the 60L version. Let's go ahead and smell. Oh, also, before I forget, so the 60L version is using S04 yeast, clean, neutral yeast. The 40L version is using S04. Leaves stuff in suspension a little bit, doesn't attenuate as much. So that could play a role in this. And what happened was I'd been making the 60L versions first, and then making the 40L version. And the only reason I did that is because I was looking for that dark brown to black porter. So if I made the 60L version and it didn't come out, you know, a dark brown, I wasn't going to make the 40 version. Because again, I'm not making a brown, I want to make a porter. So that's why. And on this one, on the 60L version, I ran out of S05, so I couldn't use that in the 40, so I had to use the S04. So that is another factor, but I can't tell you. We'll talk about it as we get into this, but I'm not 100% sure because I don't have a 60L version here with the S04. Now, the wheat versions and the Carafa 2 versions all use S04. So those will be similar, closer together. So let's go ahead and smell. So out of the smell, I think this has a little bit more, I want to say like biscuit, light biscuit with a like city roasted coffee, but there's some sweetness in there, which is surprising since it's over 6%. It was only supposed to be, say, 5.4 or 5.5%. It almost smells like the sweetness is coming off as like a vanilla, which I know is not the case. Like, I don't know. Like, the 60 version smells drier. Like, there's less sugar coming through there. Like, you're getting a little bit of that coffee, like light roasted coffee, but the sweetness isn't there that I think should be there for coffee. Chocolate also, and this one, the 40 version has a little bit of chocolate. It could be amped up just because of that sweetness I'm smelling. But you get that roasted grain out of the 60. It's almost like that US-05, because the profile is like neutral, you're getting the grains that you use in here, where I don't want to say sweeter, but because that S04 attenuates lower, doesn't have as high of an alcohol tolerance and leaves stuff in suspension, that more of the sugar's coming out in there, so it's a little sweeter, so you could go like a sweet chocolate coffee. Yeah, it's like the 60 version is a watered malt, roasted malt. Like if I took those malts, crushed them up, put them in water and smelled it, that's what I would get. Where this one, there's more like sweetness, but the flavors are drawn out more also. At least the coffee. I shouldn't say all flavors because it's called chocolate rye and I'm really not smelling chocolate. Maybe a touch of chocolate, but I think that coffee is the dominant, even though it's not like blow your face off. But there is some sweetness, and with that roasted malt, I could see somebody saying, "Oh, it's a chocolate coffee or coffee with chocolate in there." For the smell, I would definitely go with the 40. Let's go ahead and taste. There's a little bitterness, and I don't know if that's because it's warming up because it's been out, but there's bitterness, like coffee bitterness in there. And the bitterness, I'm guessing, is from the roasted malts. Almost 30 IBUs per Beersmith. It's good. It's a little too watered down for the tastes that are coming out. So for that coffee, that kind of biscuit with a hint of chocolate sweetness, it seems like the body's a little low. Like it needs to come up just a little bit. We don't want it a stout, but it feels a little watered down. The 60L version seems thicker, which technically that should be the case, at least in the ABV, where the 40 version is a higher ABV, so there's less sugar, so the body's lighter. And on the 60 version, that means that there's more sugar in there, so the body's thicker, and that comes out here. It's like a muted coffee with roasted malt. I don't get that much sweetness. And it's like it's there, but it's not there. Like I want that coffee, you taste a little bit of that coffee, and then it like stops. It's almost, and I hate to say this, like the 60L version seems like it's an extract batch, then the 40L version seems like it's all grain. Like there's just more flavor there. And I don't get any alcohol in there. in the 40 version or the 60 version. I think for me, I would definitely have to go with the 40 version. I'm a bigger coffee fan, and that's what comes out more here. I think the 60L version is muted too much, at least for my taste. Still drinkable. If I had a 5-gallon keg, I would definitely drink it, or 48 bottles. I could still drink it. But if I had to pick one, I would go with the 40L version. So let me know in the comments down below if you've used S04 and US05 in 2 porters and how they turned out. If you like this review, check out some more over here. And until next time, happy brewing.